And for us to come in and pass a bill here that says to the people of our district that you got to come down here and register as a lobbyist before you can contact your representatives, I think it's going to make us all look like a bunch of blithering idiots. For that reason, I hope you'll vote for the adoption of this amendment.
Mr. Speaker, members, Mr. Hale, I'm sure it's unintentional, but he is misleading you a little bit. Our bill, nowhere does our bill require that somebody has to register as a lobbyist to contact you. That's totally false. I think you know it's false. However, we do require that if anyone spends over $150 in any calendar quarter contacting any member of the legislature or any member of the executive branch, he has to register. And we feel that if he's spending $150, he ought to register.
I know
the whole intention of this bill, Mr. Pivotal, is to try to make available to the public that information that we think is pertinent as far as how money influences legislation or administrative action. We felt that $150 was a good point where anything over that is significant. So you are correct, it does that, and we intended it to do it.
Isn't it true also if a man's going to be dishonest, that if he's going to take money, because I disagree with you. I think the big majority of this group are honest citizens. I think the big majority of people who's ever served here is honest citizens. It was the speaker who got bought off before, and certainly I don't think it would happen under the present speaker or any speaker we elect in the future.
Gentleman yields, Mr. Leary.
Mr. Temple, isn't the effect of Mr. Hale's amendment merely to allow the representative who has a lobbyist in his district who customarily spends large amounts of money directly with him to still receive this money and not report it?
That's correct.
Not only must travel be reported, but research must be reported, postage and telegraph, publication and advertising. If the Chamber of Commerce were to put out a brochure of some kind advertising the Rio Grande citrus fruit, and that's channeled into Mr. Minton Murray there, and they spent over $150 in publishing that brochure, then there clearly comes within the confines of this bill, and they would have to register as lobbyists up here in order to contact their own representative.
Mr. Hale, I think the key words in this is to influence. I think, forgive me, I think you made maybe an over-graphic description a minute ago when you were talking about grapefruits and how if they channeled it into one area, even though they've done a study to Mr. Murray, I think as the bill reads, they can do anything in the world they want to unless they spend excess of $150 to influence legislation. Isn't that correct? Isn't that the way that I think the bill indicates?
What constitutes an activity to influence legislation, Mr. Bigham? You tell me that, and I'll answer your question.
Mr. Hale, I think we all know what influences legislation. That's coming up here or putting material before us to show why or why not something should happen. But I would remind you that this is the very same loophole that Wagner Carr used 2 years ago when he didn't file as a registrant lobbyist for the simple reason he said, I'm only petitioning my senators and my representatives. And that's the loophole he used. It held for him, and I'm telling you, if it held for him, it'll hold again. And I urge you to change your mind and to go with me and vote against this motion.
I don't know what Mr. Wagner Carr's excuse was and don't care. I don't think that has anything to do with it. Again, I think we're hearing a lot of arguments put up here that has absolutely nothing to do with the validity or lack of validity of this particular amendment.
All in favor vote aye, all opposed vote no. The clerk will ring the bell. Clerk will ring the bell. 72 ayes and 74 noes, the Hale amendment fails of adoption.
My amendment 2 is a little amendment to clean up this bill. Many of us were sent to Austin, and before we came here, we told the people that elected us that we would not create any more state commissions or agencies that was going to spend a lot of money that the taxpayer didn't get their money's worth. I feel that my amendment creates a substitute to the Ethics Commission, which I contend is not a commission at all. but merely an investigatory agency or a police agency.
I'm real concerned in removing the ethics agency, or whatever we want to call it, from the political arena.
I am
And
too.
I have
one of my
real
points.
doubts as to whether your proposal will succeed in doing this.
I think you now are coming face to face with the crux of the entire issue that we have here. I heard a figure from the back microphone a while ago, one of the fantasies, I believe, that has been thrown out here. And I looked at the fiscal note provided by the people who understand the cost of things, and they state that this should cost about $66,000 a year, and 5 years from now have grown to maybe $110,000. The amendment, as offered by Mr. Pivito, is a beautiful piece of misdirection. Let me tell you why I say that. If you want lobby reporting and lobby control, you will vote against Mr. Pivito's amendment. I went through and laid out for you a clean-cut adversary judicial proceeding whereby the filings would be made, the information would be available, the protections would be given to the members of the lobby under the adversary proceeding if there was an accusation made. And I think everybody is entitled under our form of government to have the protections of an adversary proceeding. But I also think the people are entitled to know. And too long have we had a Tweedledee, Tweedledum type of knowledge about the lobby that Mr. Pivito is offering you here in his amendment.
The motion to table prevails. All in favor of passage of House Bill 2 to third reading will vote aye. All opposed will vote no. Clerk will ring the bell. Record vote. Show Mr. Bigham voting aye. Show Mr. Temple voting aye. There being 116 ayes and 27 noes, House Bill 2 passes to third reading.